I'd like to introduce, I have a little introduction here that Areke is from the Netherlands and is 55 years old. She studies social group dynamics and works with families in crisis. After many years of searching for truth and never finding she could truly connect with the Urantia book, which found her in 2010. And the joy of coming home to our loving Father has been with her ever since. After years of reading alone, after years of reading as a lone reader, the desire to meet other readers grew, and she started attending conferences in the Netherlands, which gave her a feeling of belonging. The desire to contribute and to serve also grew, and eventually this resulted in her serving as the president of the Urantia associations in the Netherlands. This is her very first webinar and will be in a language that is not her own. But she knows that the way of our Father starts with daring to be brave and always having the willingness to learn and grow. So I'm going to hand you over. So away you go, and thank you for stepping forward.
Hello, everyone. I'm a little bit nervous. I say it in the beginning because it's my first time. But also, I really enjoy to be here with you. And I was on former Urantiathons, and it really gives me the family feeling of joy and happiness, and I want to contribute. So I go to share my PowerPoint and take you to the part of the celebration of your spiritual growth. Now, of course, warm welcome for everyone who's here. And I'm going to share for a short while my shared screen, because I want to start with how an experience taught me why celebrating achieved growth is important. My personal story. So I'm going to go back on a trip of memory lane when I experienced first time in my life the joy of celebration. I hear on my voice, I'm nervous, sorry. When I was 16 years, I left my parents' home, and it took a while for me to get on my feet. And I was, I think, 23 or something like that. I go to school for study, and I choose to study accountancy and informatica. And I did really well. I get 10 out of 10 points. And I think, oh, I'm doing well, I'm going well. But in my inside, I get really, really, really sad. And one day I had really good points going home, and I think, well, I'm not going to be happy. And I start crying when I'm on my bicycle to go home. And then I hear myself screaming inside. Now you can be proud of me, and my parents are in my head, and my brothers and sisters. And it really hits me. And when I sit home the days after, and I find out I did it for the wrong reasons. I did not listen to my own inside. I did it to please others. Then I decided to quit the school, and everyone around me was a little bit upset. Why are you doing that? And you're so good at that. I said, no, I must learn to find out what's inside me, what needs to be out in the world. Then I must go to social care and going to a rough year. But there was a lady, a very old wise lady, and we had two conversations. And she looked at me and said, in everything you say, I think you are happy when you can help other people. Why don't you go to a school to learn more about it? And I did. And I blossomed. And after 4 years, I get my diploma, and I'm going there on my own, and I have the papers in my hand, and I was on my bike home, and I feel a joy inside me rise up, lifted me up, and I feel like, what's happening? And I feel like almost like dancing. And I go to the city and walk, almost walking through the streets like hallelujah feeling, and still watching myself, why I'm so happy now, why so. And it was a very beautiful day, sun was shining, it was springtime, and I feel the whole world was with me, and I feel lifted up. And I look beside me, I saw a beautiful little shop and of jewelry, and I go there and I buy this ring. I always wear to remind myself when I'm really listening inside, I'm able to overcome all the obstacles on my way. I'm able to grow, I'm able to learn, and I'm able to give. At that time, I didn't know anything about the Urantia book or thought adjusters. It was just something that's happening. But later on in my life, I start to realize how important it was. Because when I was so happy the days after, I start spontaneously, thank God, bought flowers and go to the lady who helped me to go to that school and means so much to me in that whole process. She even invited me in her home to help me find myself. And the more I get older, the more I start to realize that something shifted really, that in that moment of time for me, I think that's the first time I really started listening in my adult life to the thought adjuster. And that's why I learn how important it is to celebrate when you grow in your life. And then, of course, I study the Urantia book. I get curious, what's the Urantia book saying about it? And then now I go back to my presentation, and there I share with you what I found in the Urantia. Is there somebody else who wants to read this for me, whose English is better than mine? Thank
Why?
you.
This allows you to take the time to reflect and see what you have learned so that you can give the acquired knowledge to help and serve others. Paper 30, section 3, paragraph 9, page 339.6. The entire ascendant plan of mortal progression is characterized by the practice of giving out to other beings new truth and experience just as soon as acquired. You work your way through the long school of paradise attainment by serving as teachers to those pupils just behind you in the scale of progression.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
I think when you take the time to celebrate, it immediately started to reflect what you celebrate and go deeper in your looking at your process of growth. And I have this one, and then go here. So you please continue reading.
Sure, I'll be glad to. All right.
Oh yeah, sorry. This one.
This one, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. This is a time to consciously take the time to connect with your thought adjuster, to express your gratitude for his uninterrupted loving guidance. Paper 48, section 4, paragraph 20, page 550.1. And that part of God, the adjuster, which becomes an eternal part of the personality of an ascendant mortal, contributes the overtones of divinity to the joyous expressions, even spiritual laughter, of the ascending creatures of time and space. I like spiritual laughter. That's fantastic.
Yeah, I thought what's the experience I have there. it came from the inside, and it was such a blessing feeling.
Yeah, it's a beautiful quote, isn't it? It really personalizes things.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was only 2 days ago they asked me to step in, and this is what I have. Oh, this one. Would you please?
Okay, take the time to turn in and worship God. Paper 143, section 7, paragraph 3, page 1660.5. Worship, the strain of living, the time tension of personality, should be relaxed by the restfulness of worship. Taking time to connect with God and thereby charge for your next lesson on your path of ascension.
Thank you. Thank you. My personal experience is when you really take the time to connect with God, and everything you learn, share it with Him, and then there is some calmness, some relaxed time between the next thing is on your path to go. And that time in between is like letting go of what you have learned and integrated in your personal life. And then I feel the next lessons are showing up slowly, and you go in the other process. And it's time to, yeah, charge yourself to that. Yeah, like that. And then, please.
Recharge your batteries.
Yes, like that. Yes. Yeah, it's very important because as we all know, the lessons are not easy all the time. We have to really fight and struggle with emotions and all kind of stuff. Which have influence on our life. And we all try to do that and to go through it and to learn from it. And that recharging process is so important. And would you please read?
I can read that one out if you like.
Yes, please.
As we travel through the grand universe on our way to paradise, anniversary celebrations mark our progress. What a wonderful prospect.
Yes. And in this next page, I found this in the Urantia book about it. I first started with the time Jesus go back to after his seventh bestowal. You say bestowal? There was a jubilee of jubilees, and I always try to imagine jubilee of jubilees in the whole local universe. That must be a big celebration. And when I found this, I was really surprised because they have a lot of celebrations for us when we go that long way to paradise. And Trevor, will you please read it for me?
Okay. The ascendant career is well nigh finished, and the seventh Jubilee prepares for celebration. The first Jubilee marked the mortal agreement with the thought adjuster when the purpose to survive was sealed. The second was the awakening in the Urantia life. The third was the fusion with the thought adjuster. The fourth was the awakening in Havona. The fifth celebrated the finding of the Universal Father. The sixth Jubilee was the occasion of the Paradise Awakening from the final transit slumber of time. The seventh Jubilee marks entrance into the mortal finality core and the beginning of the eternity service. The attainment of the seventh stage of spirit realization by a finaliter will probably signify the the celebration of the first jubilees of eternity.
Thank you. This was my presentation, and now I like to go back here, and I like to hear some comments, but also I'm very curious about if you have experience or thoughts about this, because that's why I want to know.
I think those jubilees were absolutely wonderful, and I think it's the adjuster too that's really celebrating those jubilees. We probably become more aware of them, probably maybe even more so. I was just thinking about when the mortal decides to do the will of the Father in heaven. That is probably more of a jubilee for the adjuster than it possibly is for us. And when we're resurrected on the mansion worlds, it's, you know, we're recognizing that probably even more profoundly as an individual. So there's a combined jubilee between the two of us. And the most wonderful one is when we see eye to eye and actually fuse. Yeah, I just found that was a beautiful way of finishing off your topic. Thank you.
Yes, I think when jubilees and having that kind of special moments when you're growing up, it's a wonderful prospect, but there must be a reason why they do it. And I was so happy to find it after that experience and reading the Urantia book. I think, okay, this is not only important for me, it's important in the book, in your whole career to paradise. But that. And makes me so happy. After you do hard work, there is some moment to celebrate and to share with each other. And of course, and I think God wants to share himself with you. You share your things with him, and also your happiness and the moment of overcoming your troubles and all that kind of stuff.
Has anyone else got anything to? Yeah, Rita.
Hey, hello, everyone. Hello, Areke.
Hello.
Just talking about celebration, you know, I'm just thinking that in this culture, everything is in such a flux and in such change that we are looking again for how do we celebrate certain events. And I just know that, for example, the way we celebrated Christmas as when I was a child, I cannot do here with my family. Everything's different. And I just find the fact that we need to have certain rituals and certain celebrations, they bring us forward. You know, they celebrate a certain point we reach, and then we can go on. I mean, that's why the children are so excited for their birthdays, especially when they're little. It means so much. And once they're 4 or 5, they know exactly their birthday is coming and something's going to happen, and they're so excited. And yeah, I'm sort of in a stagnant position sometimes. I thought, gosh, what are we going to do? What are we going to do that what is meaningful, you know? But like you said, it's even been important that on high and in our universe ascent, there are points where we celebrate. And you know, jubilee, I mean, what a word to use, you know? Yeah. And we have to learn. I mean, for me, I think here in this world, I have to learn again how to celebrate, you know, without being noisy or obnoxious. But it's a challenge, but it's worth doing, I guess, because we are asked to. Yeah.
Oh, thank you for sharing that. I recognize it. Learning how to do it, and we are all going in some kind of uncharted territory with this whole Urantia knowledge we have, and we have to create new rituals for ourselves to celebrate the special moments in your spiritual growth and that kind of thing. And I think that's very personal too, and that's why I'm curious if others have created that kind of rituals, or how do you go from one stage in your life to the others, and do you really take the time to reflect and yeah, do something really with the lessons you learn.
Yes.
Thank you for sharing it.
It's nice to meet you, Areke.
Thank you. I feel a little bit better now, but most of my nerves are gone.
When you were doing that presentation, there was a quote there about our universe career to paradise, and a lot of that will be taken up with after we've learned something and understood it, is sharing it and teaching it to others a little bit below us. And it reminded me of that statement in the, I think it was those 24 human concepts in Urantia, where, and one of them was you don't really have understanding until you have the capacity to actually share it. You know, that's when you start to fully understand something, is when you can share it. Yeah.
What a point.
Yeah, thank you. That I agree with you saying.
Yeah. Yeah. How did it go? Understanding is only possessed by sharing it. That's right. Yeah.
Yes. And that's how we learn ourselves. Looking around with us, we have some skills you don't have and you want to learn, or is wiser than you are, and you stay with them and learn from them and grow. That's how the whole plan in the universe is working.
Yes, yes, and that's why we're so valuable to each other. You know, because
Yes.
we all have varying degrees of experience and insight into things. And yeah, so keeping that open mind that, you know, hey, somebody might know something that you don't know, you know, which is a wonderful attitude to have to everyone you meet.
That just brings to mind, you know, sharing and then you understanding it. It's the same as when you look for something. You know, sometimes when I'm in the supermarket, I look for something, and after whatever time, I ask somebody, and as soon as I've asked them, I actually see it. And so it sort of taught me that I should just be more freer to ask. First of all, you interact with people, and you know, secondly, you just go out and you ask. You know, you are aware you don't know everything, and just go and ask, because somebody else is so happy to share with you what they know.
Yeah, that's correct. I recognize that. I have that a lot of times too. That's funny. Yeah. That's also why when Antonio asked me, I say yes, even the time was short, because I know I will be nervous. I'm kind of type when I have to speak for a lot of people. I know I'm nervous, but I thought, okay, they are my brothers and sisters, and maybe they have done it a lot of times. But I have to start sometime, somewhere, and I must be brave. Otherwise, I never ever go to paradise. I must take the first step, and I take it here. I take it when I became the chairwoman of the Netherlands, and I think, okay, I do it openly with my nerves and everything, and then grow from there. And it's okay sitting here and have that nervous and hear it in my voice, and it's okay. I'm just learning. I'm not perfect yet. I have to maybe 1 million years time to go there.
That's right.
Yeah.
I just want to say the example that Rita gave about the supermarket and just ask. For me, I have to remind myself all the time that that is also for the celestials. Just ask, and I forget. I keep forgetting it, but when she says it, this example of the supermarket, I think it's the same to all the help there is for us in the universe. We can just ask.
Yes. Yes, the point is to remind that every time you need help, and then ask and train yourself to do it often. Yeah. I'm still wondering if anybody has some things you want to share about their celebrations in their lifetimes experience. Or I think I cannot be the only one who has experienced something about celebration from the inside in some part of life. Is there anyone who wants to share something?
Areke, I will, let me say a little bit. First of all, Trevor, thank you for reading, because I enjoy your accent much better than my very slow Southern drawl. So, and, but I enjoyed your story so much. It was, you know, as I have gotten older and I look back on my past, I really begin to see God's plan for me so much better, you know, and it's very true that hindsight is 20/20, you know, but I was very fortunate that when I found the book or the book found me, you never quite know which it is, or it's probably a little of both. I was very early, almost instantaneously, really gifted with a very good mentor who had been part of the first forum and helped get the book published originally, and all of that, and did a lot of teaching. And you know, he gave me a lot of his one-on-one time, which I really appreciated, and his wife did also, who was a student of the book. And I, you know, it was invaluable to me. I'm not so sure I would have been as committed a student from the beginning if I mean, I was questioning, don't get me wrong. I had been raised and still participate in a conservative Protestant religion, but you know, and my mentor still participated in a Protestant church also, and but I saw what an amazing, his own personal story to me about how he got to the book and what the book had done in his life. And I saw the service that he was doing to the Urantia community. Really, I can't say molded, but it certainly gave me a good example to try to follow, just like we read the Jesus papers to get insight on how to live our lives. And but our fellows often live these amazing lives that we also need to take notice of, you know, and celebrate their jubilees along with our, with our own. So I was very fortunate in that respect. And I've had 2 or 3 other people in my life that I can say had, very, very profound, effects, like we all have. I had very strong women in my family that were excellent examples to me, that taught me a lot about, being an individual and being creative and having ideas and but also how to negotiate the time in which I was born in the time we're living, just like now, you know, just like the way we're doing now, and any help or comfort or encouragement we can offer to any of our fellows that are, particularly the ones that are really suffering at the moment. So, so your story just reminded me of so many of those incidences when I look back, as God placed me in the right time, or the person that was in my path, or whatever, you know, and I see that as, you know, it wasn't a coincidence or anything like that. It was, you know, my adjuster and the celestials and my Father's plan for me that put me at the right place at the right time, just like that lady was for you. And if we can possibly ever do that sort of service to another person, it's sort of like the way we can pay it forward. You know, we try to pass it, you know, pass it on. I know how hard Jim and Eunice worked passing it to me and to the next generation, and why it's important that we be, you know, the truth holders for our time. And so you gave me a lot of wonderful memories that came up. So I thank you for that.
Thank you, Marjorie, for sharing your personal story. And I can relate to a lot of you, what you're saying. I think no one is by accident born in kind of environment or family. I think that has a reason. And for me personally, I left my family early, physically to find my own way. I am from a conservative religion family too. I don't know exactly the word. And when I left, I was 16. I came back later, and I left it, and I had this feeling I must go and find some new input in myself so I can learn them. That it's not like hell and damned and all that kind of stuff. I must learn them about love. And I was always committed to, until this day, to bring that to the family and help them grow. And I think that's how evolution goes. And I think when I look around at my friends, I see every family has some kind of stranger in the family who's not the same. We go another path and bring that new things in the family to grow. Yes, thank you for sharing, Marjorie. Thank you. And I see your raised hand, Pam.
Yeah, hi. My name's Pam Hayes. I'm from US, St. Petersburg, Florida. So hi, everybody.
Hi.
Hey, I really appreciated this. I'm a relatively new student of Urantia. 7 years I've owned the book and read the book. I used the book as an encyclopedia for years until about 18 months ago when I met Jeff Taylor and Susan Myers here in our area, and a whole group of Urantians, readers here. And so now I'm in the newbie group. So I'm going deeper in my studies. The reason I preface it is because I hadn't, to this time, I have not looked at the readings of the book until tonight, the way you shared. I hadn't thought about my progression so much. Just trying to nuts and bolts of things rather than where I might be headed someday. I mean, I know that's part of the revelation, but it wasn't something that I really gave much thought to be very honest, until this evening, and the joy that brings. Like, what a relief I have eternity to get it right, you know?
Yeah.
And so that's beautiful. So thank you. And since COVID-19 has hit the world, I've spent a great deal of this year literally a year now, in deeper connection in prayer and going deeper in my own faith and my own walk. And Urantia has been part of that, of course, and studying it. And so it looks like we're being locked down a little bit longer. So it'll be a good opportunity to take your new gift to me of wisdom, to look at the book in a different way now and study it differently than I have been. That opens it up for me. And I thank you. And how awe-inspiring that you are doing this in a language that is not your own. So thank you.
You're welcome, Pam, and your words make it worth the nerves and all the kind of stuff. And not only the nerves, I also have the joy to do this. I feel ready to make that move. And when you say I open up something for you, I'm so happy I'm brave enough to do it. That's
Wow,
all. Yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you.
David, I see your hand raised.
Did you call upon me?
Yeah, David. Yeah, I saw your hand.
My name's Dave, and Pam, I enjoyed what you just said. I'm north of Gainesville here in Florida, and I too am a relatively new student to the Urantia study. The book was given to me back in 1992, and I didn't really read it until after 2012. And I just made a connection with the study group probably in the last 6-9 months that has brought me a lot better understanding of a lot that's in this wonderful book. There was something that you had us read a little bit earlier about the teaching of the information in the Urantia book. And I wanted to share with you that it hit me that I have moments when I go, oh, I understand it. It's a, oh, I understand it moment. And I'll get up and I'll go running into the kitchen and say, honey, I've got to tell you what I just understood. Now, my wife will share with me that this book is very hard to read, and it is from time to time, but she's patient with me. And she sits there and listens to me, bless her heart. And through that, I'm sharing with her something I've just learned, a revelation that I've just understood from this book, and she's listening to me. Once in a while, I'll pick up on it that she's sharing it with somebody else. Now, I got to tell you, these moments that I share, I've got to watch myself, and Margie knows this. I was playing golf yesterday with a guy who is a very primitive preacher. He preaches in a very conservative church, and I don't know why it was, but I turned to him. I said, you know, I've been amazed by some of these time standards I'm learning. 400,000 years ago, when this staff of 100 came upon the face of the world, and did you know one of them came up to Adam and Eve? Van. And I started going through this stuff, and I realized that I'm standing out on the golf course and I'm talking to this guy, and I go, now look, you don't have to listen to me, but I don't think it's that bad that we share this information with others. He's played golf with me long enough, and he knows that I'm studying this book, and I invited him to watch us through Facebook, you know, and trying to reach out, because there's so much beauty in this book. Pam, it was nice meeting you, and thank all of you for letting me speak. You have a nice evening. I love your presentation, and I too love your smile.
Now you get me flustered. Urantia book can change lives, and when you're so inside feeling that happiness and overflowing for every beauty you learn from that, you want to share. That's natural, and you want everyone to have that happiness. Is there someone else you want to share something?
I just want to thank you, Areke, for doing this. You know, this is your first time. I was not listening all the time because I'm also managing another conference, a Finnish conference. They're starting their online conference now. So I'm sorry I was not all the time here, but I'm very happy that you feel comfortable and I hear it here and there. So congratulations, you know. I do want to share something about the about when I found the Urantia book. I was also yesterday I talked with you on the phone briefly about and talked about this, but I do think it's nice to share this now. When I found the Urantia book, I found it online all by myself. I was so happy when I was reading the first paragraph about the Universal Father that I got immediately this confirmation that this was the book for my life, for my entire life, and that I was at the end of a long search, you know, in my life, looking for truth. And I was so happy. I was so, you know, this was like this celebration. This was like, I was so, I got the immediate confirmation that I was, yes, I found it. I was, wow. And when I was reading more about the Universal Father, it more and more happier I was. And that I can say a lot more about this, but this is what I say about this for this moment. So.
Thank you, Antonio. And also thank you for asking me to be here giving this webinar. You give me just the right spirit and push to get a step forward to express myself in my love of the Father and my brothers and sisters. And I recognize what you say. I have the same feeling when I found the Urantia book. It just, that finally feeling in the light and feeling in my body from head to toe. Yes, I finally, this is it. And I just have it only in my hand, just didn't open it. I know it. And that feeling is ever with me since. And that's such a blessing. And now I feel everything is falling in place. And this is why I'm born for, to live this way. And finding you on the internet, I think is really nice side effect of COVID-19 time. We have all the time to step up digital, to get together and study deeply, stay inside your own energy, and we can share, thanks to Antonio, who do so much work for making this possible. And thank you for working together also. And I have to thank you also. I see Manuela is coming up. I met her in the Eurosocial Zoom a lot of times. Lovely sister. And especially thanks to Saskia from the Netherlands, who's sitting every week on my table. We have lovely dinners and talk about our growth and the Urantia book, what it learns us. And it's a joy. And that's also every week a celebration. I can say that straight from my heart. I learned so much talking with others deeply what's happening in your personal life and how that relates what you have to learn on your way up and why you struggle and why you not overcome that specific animal thing you have in your inside you. Of course we have, and have so people so close around you, and you can open up really about the darkest sides of yourself, of the embryo side of yourself. I say something that's really a big treasure, that I want to say. Yeah. What an evening, but for us it's morning. It's early morning, 8 o'clock in the morning, and sharing all the deep stuff so early in the morning. It's special. Thank you for being there and contribute to this wonderful conversation and to get to know each other a little bit better. Some people I know from Facebook and from other Zoom things, but I really appreciate you being here with me. Thank you.
No, the feeling is very mutual. That's yeah. Thank you for stepping forward and sharing all of that with us.